Hey, what is up, legends? My name is Derek or J Nova, and today we are back talking a little powerlifting. All right, so I talked about it a little bit in the last video that I posted, but I wanted to do a powerlifting meet recap. So my powerlifting meet, my first one I've ever done, was on December 14th, 2 weeks ago. And I wanted to kind of just go over each of the lifts, talk about, what my thought process was, how everything went, just to give you guys a recap, just because we kind of have been doing like the weekly update series, just with how my training was going up into the meet. And I just kind of want to, show you guys how it went. It went really well. Let's go ahead. Without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. I just stitched together all of the lifts, so all 3 attempts for squat, bench, and deadlift, and we're going to watch those and talk about, anything that I noticed during the set or how it was going at the meet and just stuff that was going through my mind. So without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so obviously up first we have squat. This is my first attempt, 197.5 kg or 435 pounds, roughly 435 pounds. So before this one plays, we wanted my openers to be basically like lock-ins, like things that I should, without a doubt, be able to hit because this is my first meet. So this is my first meet. The nerves are there. I couldn't really, looking back at it and looking at the videos and stuff like that, I couldn't really see it on my face. But the nerves are for sure there. No matter how calm I felt like I was in the moment, this was the first time I've ever stood on a platform. This is the first time I've ever been in front of people lifting like this. So I definitely had nerves, but I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was going to be. So kind of going into it, we wanted to be a little more conservative and make sure that my first attempts were things that I was going to get on the board. There's nothing worse than bombing out. If you fail your lift, especially your first attempt, you can't go down in weight. So there's no point in trying to push yourself and trying to start super high and end up failing it because of whatever reason, because then you're kind of fucked. So we went not super light, but we went light enough to where we felt like these first attempts were pretty much locked in, and it was going to get me in the zone, just be comfortable. Different bar, different environment of lifting. So we wanted to make sure that I was just ready to go. We'll let this play. So 3 white lights. That was a good lift. Nothing really to comment on there. It was pretty solid, pretty straightforward. 435 or whatever. 435 is a pretty easy squat for me. I mean, didn't really struggle with it at all. You can see the groove on that one wasn't really that great at the very bottom of the rep. The bar path kind of got a little wonky there, but got it pretty much no problem. So that was a perfect first attempt just to get me on the board. Got 3 white lights. Everything was good. So from here on out, the nerve part kind of went away. Just getting that first lift under your belt is what's really important, because you really want to be out there feeling the bar, feeling like what it feels like to be in front of people. So it was perfect to do that for the first rep or first set, just to make sure that we got it on the board. So that's all that mattered. All right, moving on. Second attempt is 480 pounds or 217.5 kilograms. I actually really haven't watched these too in depth, so I think this one was pretty straightforward as well. Yeah, so you can see a little bit of struggle there. Nothing too crazy. Again, we didn't really want to go and push it too hard. We basically had the idea that my first and second attempts were going to be, pretty conservative. And the third attempt, if I wanted to push it, I could have, or I could just, go in line with how I was feeling. Because to lay it all out, I went on a cruise at the end of November. So from the 22nd to the 29th, I was on vacation. From the 30th to the 7th or 8th of December, I was sick. So that's 3 weeks of my training that just basically stopped because I was basically out of town or I was sick. So going into this meet, the timing was horrendous, and I knew that going into it. So I wanted to not have to deal with injuring myself. So the injury risk was already much higher because I wasn't as trained as I normally would have been. But also, the injury risk is high in general because of the weight, and we didn't want to push it. We just didn't want to be super aggressive to a point where it's not beneficial for me. A, I'm probably not going to get the lift, and B, I could hurt myself. So there's no point. Our main goal was to get a 1,400 pound total. You know, I've talked about it in a lot of my lifting videos, just where I want to be, what total I want. So 1,400 pounds was the goal. My gym PR training total is much higher than 1,400 pounds, but you know, doing it on platform is a little bit different, especially when I'm detrained going into the meet like I was. So 1,400 was the goal. So all of these numbers that you're seeing were with that goal in mind of 1,400 pounds. So again, just to keep it consistent, we did a little bit more conservative on pretty much everything. I mean, I could have pushed a lot of these, and you'll see it with the next attempt. So we'll go ahead and show the third attempt. So this is my last squat attempt, 230 kg, 507 pounds. My gym PR is 530 pounds. So this is 23 pounds underneath what I've done in the gym. But again, all those factors leading up to this meet, we wanted to be a little bit more conservative. And I will say also, my 1,400 pound total kind of hinged on this squat attempt. If I didn't hit this, I would have had no chance really in achieving a 1,400 pound total. I would have had to PR massively on bench or deadlift. I think deadlift was the one I would have had to like hit a huge like 590 PR or something like that. So this squat attempt was very, very important. One thing I do want to mention too that I think is cool, anytime you're on the platform and you're squatting over 500 pounds, you actually have 5 spotters. So if you guys can see, there's one guy behind me, one guy on each side of the weight, and then another two guys like kind of in the front with the other 2 guys on the sides. So there's one behind me and 2 on each side, basically. I think that's pretty cool. So you can see all 5 of them right now. So definitely a little bit of struggle there, but I think I had more in me. And that's kind of where I'm tying it back into, you know, us being a little bit more conservative. I had more in the tank for sure. Like you can tell, I struggled with that rep a little bit, but there was more there. I just think that it was smart what we did. I don't regret it at all. And I think this was perfect for my first meet, just to get some numbers on the board and really make that progress, get that experience of being on the platform, as well as, you know, being conservative and not hurting myself or just trying to do too much. I think it was perfect given the circumstances of everything that happened. So 3 for 3 on squat, couldn't be happier. It felt really good that day, you know, especially with the detraining and stuff going into it. I couldn't really be any happier with it. So now we're moving on to bench. First attempt, 122.5 kg or 270 pounds. Same exact process as squat. This is like this is a locked in bench for me. If I can't hit 270, something's seriously wrong. So you'll see it in the rep. It's super, super easy. Just wanted to get something on the board, make sure that we're, you know, we got white lights for it. So make sure it's feeling good. So flew up, super simple. After I racked that one, the guy that was standing like to the right of me, he was like, "Oh, you're sandbagging," because I mean, 270 is not like an impressive bench at all, but I think just he was expecting, since it's my opener, to be like a little bit more difficult than it was, but it was super, super easy. But again, same exact thing as a squat. Just wanted to get something on the board, get that confidence, you know, and just kind of get used to the process of everything. So next attempt, 135 kg or 297 pounds. This is kind of approaching what is heavy for me. So my gym PR is 345. So this is kind of a good middle ground second attempt, 300 pounds basically. I actually think this guy misheard me too, this guy standing over me. He asked me if I wanted a spot, and I said no. I said I got it, but I don't know if he heard me correctly because he still tried to give me a lift off. I didn't count him down or anything on this one. I do on the third attempt. I asked him to give me a lift off on the third attempt, but I think he misheard me here. But it didn't really mess with me, so it's all good. So again, flew up, really solid. There really isn't a time where I'm going to be failing 270 or 300. Like, even on my weekdays, I can still pretty much grind those out. So, plus all the added adrenaline from just being on the platform in front of everybody. Felt really good. So, my third attempt bench, 150 kg or 330 pounds. And I'm not going to say anything. I'll just let you guys watch this one. All right. Damn it, I paused it too late. So if you guys have watched powerlifting meets before, or you're familiar with the rules, I'm not going to break everything down and like what powerlifting is in this video. If you guys have been watching me, then you've been following along with it. But essentially, when you're bench pressing, you get 3 commands. You get 3 commands. So you unrack the bar on your own, right? Whenever you're ready, you unrack the bar. The person giving you the commands will say down. So you go down to your chest and you wait there until the weight settles. Then it'll say press, and you press it back up. Then you have to hold the bar with your elbows locked. You're chilling there after you did the rep. And you hold it there until they say rack. I did not hold it there until she said rack. So I did good on my first 2 attempts. 3 white lights on both first and second attempt for bench. But this one, I just blacked out. And this is a total like inexperienced thing. If I am a seasoned powerlifter, things like this just don't happen. But the fact that this is my first event, I'm very proud of the fact that I went 8 for 9. I had no other red lights other than this one. And it was as soon as I sat up from this rep, I wish there was a camera on the other side of me, because you could have saw my face and I was like, God damn it, I didn't do the re-rack command. So it was just a grinder of a rep. I was yelling like as soon as I got it, just out of excitement. So I just blacked out, totally forgot to wait for the re-rack command, and immediately shoved it back. It wasn't because the weight was too heavy and I couldn't control it. I easily could have sat there with it. Like I said, I just blacked out. So this one doesn't count towards my total, unfortunately. We'll talk about that a bit at the end, but that is 3 red lights, so I didn't quite get that one. So the second attempt is the one that's going to count in my total for bench. But now we move on to deadlift, the most fun event. It was really cool because, talking to my coach before we went into the meet, he was like, you're going to want to kind of save your energy for deadlift. And I think that also was a factor in choosing my attempts, because I essentially had a couple options for each attempt, minus like the first attempt, based on, what I hit, how I was feeling, and with that 1,400 pound total in mind. But he basically told me, he's like, you're going to want to save, a lot of your energy if you can, for deadlift, and just, make sure I'm caffeined up and all that shit for deadlift, because this event, deadlift specifically, is just so much like you're putting every ounce of everything into this lift, and you're leaving it. This is the last event of the day. You're leaving it all out there. And for me specifically, my third attempt was the last lift of the day. Like, I was the last person to go. So I left every part of me on that platform. I think is why it felt so good, because I had nothing left. Like, I could not give anything, and you'll see it in the third attempt. But let's get past first and second first. So first one, 215 kg, 475 pounds. Nice and easy. 3 white lights, good lift. So 470 again for me. It's pretty like locked in number. I should be able to hit that pretty much 90% of the time, 95% of the time, unless something's seriously wrong with me. So again, keeping consistent. That first attempt, it's usually something that we can like comfortably triple. Is like kind of where we're landing, just to make sure that we're getting the numbers on the board, not pushing it too much, just playing it safe. So second attempt, 232.5 kg, 512 pounds roughly. This is kind of getting up there, definitely heavy. Nowhere near my gym PR. My gym PR is 585. But I knew going into this, being detrained, having the week of sickness, the week of vacation, I knew that number, that 585 number, probably was going to be a little bit too much. So we were erring on the side of caution, just being safe, especially with being detrained. We wanted to make sure. I wanted to go 9 for 9. That was my goal. I wanted to not be perfect, but I wanted to hit all my lifts at least. I didn't want to bomb out. I didn't want to miss a bunch of shit. So second attempt, 512. Also was pretty easy. 3 whites. The only thing I noticed watching this back is, and you'll see it in the third attempt too, my speed off the floor is good. And then you can see I kind of get stuck like right here, right on the lockout. That's going to be a consistent thing with the next one too. And I don't know if that's just, me being detrained from not having done it as much over the last 3 weeks prior to the event or what, but It was you'll see in the next one that that same thing kind of happened and is what made the next rep so hard. So let's go ahead, go into the third one. Now remember, this is the last part of the day, last event, last everything. After this event is over. So I was leaving everything on this platform, and that feeling was just, I can't even explain it, dude. Let's watch it. 567 pounds, 257.5 kg. Third attempt. All right. 3 white lights. We hit all 3 deadlifts. Let's go. Okay, so you guys saw, we'll get back to the screen in a second, but this lift was pretty insane. You know, I didn't expect it to be as hard as it was. When I walked up to the weight on the platform, I thought I was going to be able to grind it out pretty easily. Like, I knew it was going to be heavy. I knew it was going to be hard on me, but I didn't think it was going to be like RPE 10. I couldn't have lifted like another 2.5 pounds. I didn't expect it to be that. But that just goes to show you that, you know, the detraining and all that stuff going into this played a huge role, as well as the fatigue. You know, I've went through a lot up until this point. I've hit 2 other deadlifts, all of my benches, all of my squats. So I've gone through quite a bit. It's been like 2 hours since we started lifting. So my body is fatigued, even though the adrenaline that I'm experiencing is kind of keeping me, you know, I'm very focused and I have a bunch of caffeine in me. So I don't feel fatigued, but my body is fatigued. Again, the speed off the floor was fine. As soon as I get the bar right here, like right mid thigh is where the lockout slowness kind of starts to happen. That's a great face I'm making too. One thing that you will notice, so I'm locked out right here, but you can see how tilted the bar is. One is because my grip actually started opening up. You can see my hand kind of opening a little bit. But the other thing too is I think I have like a weird shoulder misalignment, I feel like, because my left shoulder sits a lot higher than my right shoulder. Like you can see it right now. I'm not really moving it at all, but my left shoulder is a little bit higher. So the fact that I do over-under grip like this, when I deadlift, sometimes the bar will be like that where it's a little bit lopsided. I don't know if that is a problem in powerlifting because, you know, the bar is above my knees. I'm locked out. So I think that meets all the criteria. It looks kind of weird, but I don't think that there's any issue there. If you're like a judge or something, correct me if I'm wrong. But I did get all 3 white lights on this, and I was hype after the fact. But that's pretty much all. That's the whole meet, guys. Like I said a little bit earlier, though, like the adrenaline, it was insane, dude. It was insane. I have never blacked out that much at like a sporting event, anything in my life. You know, I played baseball my whole life growing up. Being on that platform and lifting like that in front of people, like I would get up on the platform to get ready for my set, and I couldn't see anyone in the stand. My whole family was there. I had a bunch of people there supporting me, but I couldn't see them. Like when I went up there, it was just about getting that squat, getting that bench, getting that deadlift. You know, I put in like 8 months of work for this, and just the feeling of all of that paying off was so incredible, and it's so addicting because I'm gonna do more. Like I loved that experience, and that was a very small local meet. The sky's the limit. You know, it's just gonna be about how hard I want to work and how much I can put into it. So just to recap everything, squat, we hit all 3 lifts, 3 for 3 on squat. So 230 was going to be added to the total. Bench, we 2 for 3. We went 2 for 3. So that last one I missed the re-rack command. You can see there it's all red. It's all red. So 135 would be added to the total for that one. And then deadlift, we hit all 3, so 257.5 kg. So total was 622.5 kg, or 1,372 pounds, or 1,372 pounds. So a little bit shy of the 1,400 mark that we wanted. But if you count my bench, my 330 bench in there, I think it's like a 1,406 total or something like that. So while it doesn't count officially because I missed the re-rack command, In terms of weight lifted, I did hit that rep. I got the weight up. So in my head, I'm counting it as me hitting my goal of 1400. In terms of like what actually went down, it's 1372 was the total, or 622.5 kg. But yeah, I'm overall super happy. Yes, I didn't go perfect 9 for 9, but this was my first event. I had a ton of family there. I had my best friend coaching me as like my stand-in coach, because my coach lives across the US from me, but he was my hype man, so that was really cool. But I had a ton of family there, a ton of friends there. The support was amazing, and I think that's what helped make it so special. But again, like the adrenaline, just how much work I put into it, it was an insane experience, and something that I will never forget. Like I've just been, especially now going back to the gym, it's kind of a weird thing, because I've experienced that now. Before, I could think about it and like think of what it was going to feel like and what it was going to look like to be on the platform. But now that I've done it, it almost makes me work harder, because I can visualize like what it felt like being in that moment. And it just makes me want to be back there and be better than I was previously. So again, I'm super happy with how everything went. Huge shout out to my coach. I'm going to put his info actually in the description. If you guys are looking into powerlifting or anything like that, please go check him out on Instagram. If you guys are interested in coaching like that and want to get into powerlifting yourself, please go check him out. He's really awesome. So huge shout out to him. You know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So that's awesome. And yeah, I'm super excited. I'm really happy that I did this. Really happy I decided to step up and just commit to it, because I've always loved strength training, and I never bit the bullet and said I'm going to fucking do an event. So with all that behind us, what's the goal now? The goal now, I want to do at least 3 events in 2025. That's my main goal. 3 events in 2025. And I want, at my next event, I want to hit a 1,500 pound total. My gym total right now is sitting around 1,460. So it is very doable to be able to hit a 1,500 pound total. But that's my next goal. That's my next meet goal. So that's what we're training for right now. And I'm gonna keep pumping you guys with powerlifting update videos, all that stuff. I want to make sure that this is, you know, I want to make sure that I post this, because I want to be able to look back on it in the future too, not just for putting it up on the internet just to get views or whatever. But I think this is really important just for me to look back on and say, and see how far I've come. You know, I started this year at a 1,200 pound total. Like I've always loved strength training, but I never committed to this, and I'm committed now, and I love it. I love the training. And I'm just really excited to see where this goes, because I'm going to put my all into it. I'm not going to stop, and I'm just going to keep grinding. And we're going to see how high that number goes. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Maybe like me, share with your friends. See you guys all in the next one. Peace out.